All right, everybody. This is Danny from Deep South Homestead. We're coming on doing a little bit of a quick deal today, a little bit of a live show, unprecedented, not really scheduled. You put it that way, kind of a spur of the moment thing. I want to talk a little bit about weather that's going on. We're having some pretty serious cold weather down here at Deep South Homestead. We're trying to get prepared for things that are going on, things that are happening. I'm just sitting here waiting to see if anybody actually comes in this morning, if anybody's up or looking at their computers, just waiting basically to see if we can get there. But anyway, this morning we've got some seriously, hey Patrick, how you doing, man? Good to see you on this morning. We've got some serious cold weather coming in here at Deep South Homestead, some unprecedented cold like we don't ever have here usually. And it's not just an overnight thing. This is going to be several days of it here. We're facing, hey Amy, good to see you, girl. Um, we're just trying, this is not going to be a one-day event thing. Arthur, good to see you. Um, we're going to be facing several days of, of extreme cold weather here. Hey Dinah, hey Pam, good to see y'all. Pouring the snow here in West Virginia. I hear you, and that's one of the reasons I'm on. We're having some extreme cold conditions moving into to Deep South Homestead here. And I have some updates on a few things I wanted to bring out because to tell y'all the honest to goodness truth, we're looking at some really seriously cold weather coming in here. Um, over the weekend, and if my live stream is not able to be able to put up because the power goes down, at least I want to have something up that y'all can look at. That's a live stream. Um, um, oh yeah, okay. Ice is going just north of us here in Mobile. Yep, ice is actually going to hit us. It is literally um, it is literally pouring down raining here right now on the outside. When I woke up this morning, it was 43 degrees. It is 38 degrees outside right now. The temperature is falling all day long. Today it's going to be falling. And it's going to be, tonight it's going to be down in the low 20s. The high tomorrow is only supposed to be about 35 to 36 here. And then the next morning, the lows is going to be around 20 degrees. So with all this freezing rain that we're having here, actually it gets pretty bad here because we don't have the facilities here to take care of roads and bridges like ice and like salting and stuff like that. People here basically can't drive. I'll just be honest with you; they can't drive in good weather, much less drive in some kind of bad weather like that. But I was kind of just buying a little bit of time here. I want to let as many people get on as we can. I don't want to make this too awfully long, but the weather is the main issue, and a lot of y'all up north are going to be getting it a lot worse than we are down here. And I basically just wanted to tell y'all that we'll be praying for y'all throughout this cold weather that you're going to be having. I know that there's going to be a lot of power outages up north, and we're already preparing for power outages here because it probably will happen because if the freezing rain actually freezes on the power lines and a lot of the power lines will break and we'll go down and be without power. It's like you see the wood heater going in my background here. It has a pot of we're gonna have deer ribs cooking on that. We're trying to get things ready. Wanda and I have been out all morning long trying to get the animals taken care of, and it's going to we're probably going to lose what's in our greenhouse because I don't know that I'm going to be able to keep it above freezing in there. We've got lights on, we've got heat lamps on, things like that. We're just, we're going to try right at the last minute this evening to build a fire in the wood heater in the shop and try to run some heat in there through the pipe, the wood heater pipe that goes in the greenhouse, and see if maybe we might be able to get enough heat stored in there to to keep the things in the greenhouse from actually freezing overnight because if this is going to be a one-night event, it wouldn't bother me. But the fact that it's going to be several nights, it's possible that we could lose everything we have in the greenhouse that's not a cold tolerant type plant. Um, yes, um, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Kachuri. Um, Kacheri said she watched the video with cooking a stew on the wood stove yesterday. Yeah, yesterday during good weather, our power went out. So you can imagine if the power goes out during good weather, during bad weather, it really does have a run of risk of going out. So we are. That's one reason I wanted to put the deer ribs on this morning, was to make sure that we would be. If we're gonna run the wood heater, we might as well cook on it. Let me just say that. Uh, but one of the reasons I wanted to, I named it. When this scene come on, I named it. Does things that's happening in the world, do they matter to a homesteader? Because I'm going to tell y'all, I've gotten some information this morning that that's extremely interesting to me, and I wanted to bring a little bit of this out. If any of y'all watched my All God's Children, and you've seen the other day some of the things I was talking about some events taking place in the world about Israel, we're actually facing a big time deal in the Middle East right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know how much y'all keep up with the Middle East and how much you keep up with what's going on in the rest of the world, but not only is it in the rest of the world where some things are happening, there is some things happening here in the United States at this very moment that that's earth-shattering to me. And that's one reason I wanted to bring this up, because I want y'all to be aware of it. If you're not, then if you are, maybe send me some comments afterwards or in the live chat. Maybe throw me some comments and let me know what you think about it. But one of the things is January the 15th in France, right? And we're talking about 5 days now before the inauguration of our incumbent president. Or president-elect, not incumbent, president-elect Donald Trump. There is a vote going on in France of 70 different countries voting on whether or not to create a Palestinian state out of Israel. In other words, to divide Israel and to create part of it as being a Palestinian state. People, I'm going to tell you something. This is a crucial prophetic event if it takes place. Because let me tell you something. If the United States takes place in dividing the land of Israel, then you can rest assured that God will divide the land of America. Anytime there's been a major event that America was involved in with Israel that was not in Israel's favor, America paid a big price. Now, yeah, wheat tree, I know it tells me I got low output, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's pouring down, raining outside. I mean, it's just one of them things. I've changed my bit rates this morning, trying to get everything get everything up and going, but it doesn't seem to help. But this particular event, if it actually takes place, this could be a prophetic event. And I'm not saying it is a prophetic event. It is possible that it could be at the period of history in which we live in. Now, I know all throughout history, people have said these kind of things, and I'm no different than any of the other ones. I'm just a watchman on the wall, trying to, when I see things, trying to bring these things to fruition with y'all. And one of the things I want to, want to talk about also is not only is it the Middle East. I want to talk about something that's going on here in America. Something that hasn't been, there's something that has happened in America right now that hasn't happened since our early days back in let's say when Pearl Harbor took place, during that particular period in history. Right now, we have no U.S. Navy aircraft carriers in the Middle East. Is that not strange? Now, this is just not for today. This is for the whole next week. Up until this vote in France takes place, we have no U.S. Navy aircraft carriers in the Middle East. Now, folks, that's a little bit strange to me. But that's not all. My sources this morning have let me know that There are no American aircraft carriers deployed at sea anywhere in the world right now. They are all in port here in the U.S. Now, the only other time that that has happened, that was during Pearl Harbor. And any of y'all know anything about history, you know what happened at Pearl Harbor. Now, what is the reasoning behind this? I'm not quite sure why this has happened. All I know is that we here at Deep South Homestead are making preparations for the next 10 to 15 days to be some kind of serious move with this country. Um, I'm not really sure what events will actually take place. I just find it ironic that a superpower has all of its aircraft carriers in port all at once, and we have none anywhere in the world. Some of you guys who are more militarily advanced than I am may have a spin on that. You may know some reasoning behind why the government would do this, but to me it just doesn't make sense. I'm not a war strategist, but I know that if I was the one in power and this boat's coming up in the Middle East right now, I'd have U.S. aircraft carriers in the Middle East. I would have my U.S. aircraft carriers spotted around the world, because right now, if all of our aircraft carriers are in our home ports, if something happens in the world somewhere, there is no way we can get an aircraft carrier there to deal with it on time. We have no way to support aircraft. If we have to fly out of bases and get back, we can't get back to those bases. We have no aircraft carriers anywhere in any of the seas to be able to land a plane on. I mean, these are things that I find to be extremely troublesome at this time. Now, these are not scare tactics, I'm telling y'all. These are just outright facts right now. I also saw this morning where a lot of our chemists have been called back in for active duty. And I have some friends that are chemists for the United States military, and they have said that they have received phone calls to come back to active duty. Now, not to say they are going back to active duty, but they've received a phone call stating that they need to go back to active duty, and that's a little bit disturbing. Right here before the inauguration, they're getting this phone call. And I see the last time this happened was during Desert Storm. When Desert Storm was about to happen, these guys were called up for active duty right before Desert Storm. Um, it could very well be that there's some type of chemical warfare that they're planning on or thinking might happen. I know we've sent a lot of troops over toward the Russian borders. There's lots of things that right now the UN is poking Russia in the side, kind of provoking them, and you know who knows what better way to keep a president in office than to start some kind of a major warfare, um, right before he goes out of war. Um, so I just wanted to throw some of these things out to y'all and let you know that, there's some things going on in this world, and I told y'all I would do this. Now, this is kind of an unprecedented, like I said in the beginning, live stream for me. I'm more in a prep mode today. Wanda and I are out trying to do everything we can do to get our place ready, not only for the cold weather, but for upcoming events that may take place in the future here. We're trying to make sure that our, um, have everything ready on hand. Oh, let's see. You need to have. Let me just say this. It doesn't matter. Like I've told y'all in the beginning, since we started live streaming, it doesn't matter if it's what kind of event it is. If it's a life-changing event of any kind, whether it's physical, whether it's some type of militarily one that's coming on, whether it's weather related or anything like that. You need to have supplies ready at all times. Now, it may be too late if you live where you're already banked in the snow or anything. It might be a little bit too late, but if you still have time, get yourself some supplies. Get yourself stocked up on things. That's what Wanda and I have been doing this morning. We've been down in our I call it our grocery store, our cellar. We've been down in the grocery store getting stuff upstairs before it gets rainy and ice, it gets too icy for us to get up and down those steps, getting food in our house here for our food pantry so that we have food to make it through these cold days, you know. Um, so that's one of the reasons I come on this morning too, because if this cold system that's blasting our country right now is affecting you or is going to affect you and you still have time to get out and do something, then you need to get you some supplies in, because this cold spell is supposed to last. I know for us it's supposed to last 2 or 3 days, but the crazy thing about this is I looked at the extended forecast. Next week we're supposed to be up to 77 degrees. You know, that's just crazy. That's just it's almost like that's an end time thing, really, because I mean, used to, when I was a kid, it got cold, it stayed cold. I've talked to firefighters here, and we've had days here that's been 30 days without it getting above freezing before. And here we are now. We have like 20-degree weather for 2 or 3 days, and then we're back up to 70 degrees and 75 degrees the next day. And I do know a lot of people's blaming this on the El Nino in the Pacific Ocean. They're saying it's dissipated over there, and there's nothing to actually control or to block the Arctic blast from coming this far south. Um, it's one of those things that only nature can take care of, I suppose. God's in control of it all. I know that. But one of the things I just mainly want to say is make sure y'all are prepared, because right now it's just the weather. But in the very near future, with the inauguration coming up, people, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then. Now, this, like I said, this is not a scare tactic. This is just basic information I received this morning. And while I still have some airtime, because here with the icing on the power lines, a lot of times our power lines break, and if they do, then we may not be able to do a live stream tomorrow night. So if I can't do a live stream tomorrow night, I wanted to have this video up, at least letting y'all know what's actually coming on board, because here in the next 10 days or 11 days, it could be crucial between now and the inauguration of a new president. I've never seen a time in American history where, since I've been alive, let me put it that way, I've never seen a time since I've been alive that a presidential change has been so controversial. Can I repeat the message, Wheatree? I'm not sure what message you're talking about. Huh? Which part of the message are you wanting me to repeat? One thing is, I did mention in the beginning, is that there is a vote coming up in France on January the 15th, just 5 days before the inauguration, with 70 countries that are involved in it, to bring about a new Palestinian state out of part of the land of Israel. So that was one of the things I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, because if the United States is involved in dividing the land of Israel, then, my friend, you can rest assured God will divide this country. Now, I don't know if he may do it through natural events. He may do it through an uprising of people. He may, like during the Civil War time, I mean, God could do anything. He could take an earthquake and divide this country in half, but God will divide this country if we are part of dividing the land of Israel. That's one thing that we need to be well aware of taking place. We need to pray right now that our leaders will just use a little bit of wisdom and not be involved in, at least vote for Israel remaining a solid state and not dividing it. A lot of people are saying, yes, Min Pam, I do believe that you're right. I believe it would probably be through an uprising, because you can feel it. The tension's in the air everywhere, and they're using all types of tactics to try and bring this about. They're trying to play the race card. They're trying to play the financial cards. I mean, the housing thing, every way you look, they're trying to play a card somewhere. Guns, there was shootings yesterday in schools and things like that. They're trying to play all these cards to get all the American people in an uproar. And what that's doing is just screwing with everybody's head when we ought to be just focusing on the Lord and praying and asking Him to actually heal our land. I mean, that's basically the bottom line. So, one thing I talked about was a friend of mine. Whew, getting hot in here, baby. One thing I talked about was a friend of mine who was a chemist being called up for active duty again, and that's was told to be prepared to be called up for active duty, a chemist. So, he done biological warfare and stuff like that. And I find that that's extremely interesting at this particular point. If this is the first time in American history, right? Not in American history, but this is the first time in the past several years. Let me put it that way, that we have no ships right now in port in the Middle East anywhere. None of our aircraft carriers are in the Middle East in the area. As a matter of fact, none of our aircraft carriers, according to what I was being able to find out this morning, we have no aircraft carriers in any sea in the world right now. They're all in port. So that's just kind of confusing to me. It's kind of troubling to me. Let me put it that way. Yes, you're right. D225, you're right. When a military law is enforced, then you cannot have a change of president, and that could very well be what's in the making. I guess you could say we've kind of all expected that. We've kind of all felt like that might be what happens, and it's coming down to the last straw. I did read the other day where Jimmy Carter had made a comment to the president about he tried to help the Palestinian state start back in his presidency, and if the president didn't do something about it before he went out of office, then his dream would not come to fruition before he died. So I don't know if that's going to actually play a part in what's going on or not. I'm just hoping and praying that it doesn't. And Wallace Knife Works, yes, that's the one thing that concerns me is Pearl Harbor all over again, because what better way to mess with all your aircraft carriers than have them all sitting in port all at once? You know what I mean? When they're scattered out in the world, it's hard to hit them all at one time, but when you get them all in the same place, it's like ducks in a pond. They're not hard to take out. So that's one of the things that that kind of bothers me. And that is a good point, Ricky. That's one thing that I think about a lot. I guess, the main thing, I just want y'all to be prepared. I want y'all to know that we are thinking about y'all. I want y'all to know that all y'all that are having the real sub-degree freezing temperatures and they're packed in snow everywhere, Wanda and I are thinking about y'all. We have y'all on our hearts, and we're praying for y'all that that y'all will be able to survive this without too much problem. And we're doing the same thing here at Deep South Homestead. We're just trying to make sure that we are ourselves prepared for what's going to take place here. So I'm not going to keep y'all on too long. I just want to jump on here and say this. I've got to get back out. I've got tons of things I've got to get done today before the freezing rain actually starts and we can't get off of our porches. Yes, Susan Sullivan, you're right. Christians need to get on their face and start praying while there's still time, that God will have mercy. And Elena is right. This could be a false flag. Matter of fact, Elena, there's a lot of false flags up right now that's trying to take our mind off of this, as a matter of fact. And right now, Ricky says ammo is sold out again for the last week. Yeah, every time I turn around, these are the kind of things that I'm seeing happening, and this is the kind of stuff that's kind of making me concerned. What? Oh yeah, that because of the weather, you can expect to see food shortages and all this kind of stuff, and there's just a lot of things that's going on here that I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention. If you had not heard anything about it, I've got, like I said, I've got friends that's in these positions, and they they let me know about things, and I just feel like that if it's something that's pretty urgent, maybe I need to send it on over to y'all and let y'all hash it out and see what you think. And if it's something you think is a concern, then I don't want to be the one, if we all make it to heaven one day, you look at me and go, you didn't tell me about that. I don't want to be that person. So thank y'all for watching me today. Like I said, me and Wanda's got to get back out. We got to get busy. We've got a lot of other things to do here before the cold weather actually gets so cold we can't get out in it safely anymore. Making sure our animals is taken care of for the next few days and covering up whatever crops we need to cover up and, you know, try to salvage what we can through this little freak cold spell that we're having here. So I guess I'm going to stop it right there. Um, because I feel like the Lord laid this on my heart today. I felt like I need to bring it to y'all's attention. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have a word of prayer, and I'm going to get back to work. And if y'all got any preparing to do, then y'all need to get busy too. Father, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for just loving us and telling us how much you appreciate us. And thank you, Lord, for warning us about things to come, because you said in Scripture that you would not hold anything from your people, Father. And thank you for that. And thank you for keeping your word and making sure that it's true. And Lord, I pray for the land of Israel. I pray, Father, that the United States will not be a part in dividing it, but would be a part in trying to keep it a nation as you've said that it needs to be, Lord. And Father, that you would protect and give our leaders wisdom in these areas now. And Father, if we do play a part in it and we can't stop it, then Lord, I beg for mercy for our country and for the people that watch our YouTube channel here, Lord, and they're a part of this very live stream right now. Father, I pray for these people, and I pray that you would help them to have their needs met, Lord, and help them to be prepared for any kind of life-changing event that may come our way. Lord, I pray for our country and our military, those that serve. Father, I pray for them and those that have served and that may be called back for active duty, Father. I just pray for those and their families and their loved ones, Father. And Lord, I just want to thank you that you've given us this land of freedom that we've enjoyed to this point. And I pray, Lord, that we won't take it for granted and that we'll be able to continue to live in a land that's free, and Father, and understand that freedom only comes from you, Father. It doesn't come from power, it doesn't come from might, it comes from heaven. And Father, I pray that we'll continue to follow your principles in the Bible so that our land may be free. Lord, I just want to thank you once again and ask that you watch over all the people that are on this channel through this cold spell. Watch over us here at Deep South, Lord, and help us to be taken care of. And Father, we want to just ask that your blessings go upon each and every one of us. We want to plead the protection and blood of Calvary over the lives of everyone watching here today now. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Oh, there was one thing I did want to mention.
Okay.
I got a request from Lisa, and I'm not going to say her last name, but she's been having some issues since November, and she has a niece and a nephew. The niece is very small, a small child, and the nephew is like 18, 19. Both of them have this upper respiratory stuff, pneumonia, flu, whatever you want to call it. I also have a daughter that most of her family's sick with this stuff. It seems to be going around, so you guys, kind of prepare for that too. Have something in place for sicknesses like flus, upper respiratory, strep throat, that sort of thing, because that's fixing to hit everybody too. So just a heads up that we'd like for you guys to be aware that this is going around.
Yeah.
And this is different parts of the country we're talking about.
Yeah. And I don't know if y'all can hear it in the background right now, but the rain is hitting so hard against the side of the house here and the wind is blowing extremely hard. So the cold weather is just fixing to move in here. So we got to get off and we got to try to get out there and get some things done before it gets so bad not icing over where we risk our own health getting in and out. Yes, D, stock expectorants. Yes, you're going to need those. Okay, y'all, we love y'all and we appreciate y'all. We're fixing to get off here and go get busy. Have a blessed day. Thank y'all from Deep South Homestead.